All right, I got my drink. Let's talk about this thing. The B&T APC223 Elemento P QRS ING. All right, guys, this is everything I love about the APC223 and why it's the best rifle in the world. Now, I'm starting a new series here where I take 2 episodes per gun or per product that we're reviewing, and I tell you why it's the best thing in the world or why it's the worst thing in the world. So this is so you guys can get all the information really quick. If you just want confirmation bias, you can receive that. If you want to say the APC223 is the worst gun in the world, I'll have a dedicated video on it. If you want to say it's the best gun in the world, I'll have a dedicated video on it. But my job is to try and convince you in each episode why it's the best or why it's the worst. Keep it fair, keep it simple, and also help you guys with your research and keep it concise. So I try and keep these episodes within 8 minutes, really quick, and boiled down to the things that I think are super important. And we do rate the guns based on their desired application. For instance, this is a PDW. We're not going to be ranking it on accuracy or relying on accuracy as a metric that much, because obviously this is meant to be a compact, truck gun, home gun, close quarters firearm. It's not a long range shooting firearm. It's not designed for that. It's designed to be a compact, packable firearm that's going to be engaging within 200 yards at most. So we're going to be rating it based on those metrics of what it's designed for, just so you guys know. But yeah, let's get into it. This is the APC223, and here is why it is the best rifle in the world. Starting off, let's talk about ergonomics. The APC223 has some of the best ergonomics in any rifle I've ever felt, and I'm not just saying that. Most of you guys probably have AR-15s at this point or familiar with AR-15s. It has the T charging handle where you have to pull back here. I find that to be a huge problem in that it's not that ergonomic. It gets in your way, and when you're holding the rifle, having a T charging handle come up pretty much right to your face means you got to break over and manipulate the gun without your face being connected to the optic. It's simply configured to my left or right. This is ambidextrous. I can still maintain my sight picture, charge it, malfunctions, not have to move my head to get out of the way to manipulate my gun either this way or like check it this way. If something's malfunctioned, I can easily keep this stance proper, clear it, and good to go. It's also better leverage. If you're kind of over here, your arm's in this weaker position, in my opinion, you don't have the full extension of your arm, whereas over here, I have much more of a better, much better leverage to manipulate the bolt. I'm able to use my shoulders, much more muscle groups. In my opinion, the APC223 and guns like the APC223 that use a similar bolt design and a similar manipulation are better than the AR-15 by far. So I really do love that feature, the ergonomics of this gun. Let's talk about this specifically, the Gen 1 APC223 and its recoil. The APC223 Gen 1 recoil impulse is better than the Gen 2 specifically because there's much more mass in the bolt carrier group. If you guys haven't seen the Gen 2s, they basically have a cut in the bolt that separates the charging handle from the rest of the bolt carrier group, and it has a little bit of a heavier spring. Now, the heavier spring could be for a variety of different reasons. In my opinion, it's to compensate for the weight in the bolt, and it's probably make it a little bit more reliable, but I think this is much more enjoyable to shoot in that there's more mass in the bolt and it has that lighter spring in there. Now, the lighter spring doesn't mean that this reciprocates fast. Actually, on the contrary, it's actually a slower cyclic rate than the Gen 2s, at least from what I've seen. And because of the hydraulic buffer in this, the bolt carrier group never actually slams the back of your gun. The hydraulic buffer prevents the bolt from violently slamming in the back of the gun, which is the majority of the force you feel when shooting a rifle. So the Gen 1 specifically do have a better recoil impulse in my opinion. Yes, this is short stroke gas piston, which that should have been obvious for you guys. Now, talking about the piston system, it does have an adjustable gas block. It's only 2-position. It is multi-positioned in the Gen 2s. It has, I think, upwards of 6. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this is just 2-position, and it is really good suppressed. Another thing that makes the APC223 an excellent rifle is it really is designed to be a suppressed gun. Now you can run it unsuppressed absolutely fine. There's no issues, but you really get the benefit of not having gas bleed off in the back here, like a direct impingement AR-15 would typically have with that T charging handle, a lot of open space in the back, and your bolt carrier group would go towards the back with that main buffer tube and spring. So there's a lot of gas in an AR-15 that gets pushed back here, and then because of all the holes in the back of an AR-15, it vents outwards into your face. With an APC223, the design, the gas bleeds off pretty much right up here. There's not a lot of gas that gets back here, and even if there was, this is a pretty good seal from the stock to the receiver of the gun. So your face isn't really getting a ton of gas. In fact, it's getting virtually no gas to the face, which makes this a far better platform to suppress than an AR-15 in my opinion. Why is gas to the face important? Well, cancer, but also eyesight. If you're not wearing glasses, you should be wearing glasses, but if you're not, you're in an emergency situation, you start blasting, all that gas gets blown into your eyes, your eyesight gets degraded severely, and you start crying like a little bitch. Ask me how I know. Shooting FRTs through direct impingement guns, they bleed like a mofo. So eventually when this platform does get an FRT, it will be the best to run with an FRT and the best to run suppressed just because of its inherent design. Also, it being really good at managing all the gas means you can run high back pressure cans and not have to worry about the gas blowback. You don't need something like a Huxworks or a flow-through can to avoid all that gas. So you really could throw any can on this and it will be totally fine. For this instance, we have the Versa 36. It's a multi-caliber can from B&T, has kind of that Surefire-like mount. Actually, it's B&T's mount. Technically, that Surefire is stole from them, allegedly. Another thing that makes the B&T a wonderful gun is how customizable and modular it is. And let's talk about that. I have to punch out these pins. So the B&T is super easy to take apart and very, very easy to field strip. Essentially, the lower comes off with the 2 pins. You can see that this stock punches back. There is your hydraulic buffer, and you can change out this with like an ACR style stock or a folding stock. Gives you more options. I chose the telescoping stock because my wife thought it was cool, and I tend to agree with her. The bolt comes out. There is your main spring, and you just pull this pin, rotate it, pull it out on this side, and there is your bolt carrier group. It's all greasy because I like my grease. Super heavy bolt carrier group, which is actually great. It helps reduce recoil. And you can certainly feel it, like I said, in the Gen 1s versus the Gen 2s. The Gen 2s would have a separate piece that would be for the charging handle, just cut off from the bolt carrier group, and really easy to reassemble. And there you go, you can change out your lowers pretty quickly. I do have the aluminum lower provided by Axe Arms. Shout out to Axe Arms, big supporter of both my channel and my wife's channel. If you have a B&T addiction, they can definitely help you with that. Anyway guys, that is quickly the reasons why the APC223 is the best rifle in the world. Gas piston systems are super reliable. This gun itself is super reliable. I've had 0 issues with it, about 1,015, maybe 1,500 rounds through it so far in a pistol configuration and SBR configuration. Love the heck out of this thing, otherwise we wouldn't have gone through the paperwork to SBR it, and definitely a rifle I would highly recommend. So stay tuned for why I think this is the worst rifle in the world, and I'll catch you in that episode. Also, if we get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this month, I will do a video shirtless. So subscribe. Also, let me know if there's a gun on the wall that you want to see, that you want to do a why it's the worst, why it's the best. Cool.